welcome to another Aging Matters show, a program featuring individuals who talk about aging-related topics of interest to older adults and their families. I'm Cheryl Beversdorf, your host. Physical activity is an important part of healthy aging. Even if an older adult has had an inactive lifestyle, research suggests that no one is too old to benefit from exercise. In fact, exercise and keeping fit can help older adults stay healthy and independent for longer and reduce the impact of illness and chronic disease. Today, my guest is Cathty Turner, Director of Health, Promotion and Senior Health at Virginia Hospital Center. Cathy's going to talk about the benefits of exercise and what older adults can do to become more active. Later in the show, she and Karen Clark-Stone, a participant in Virginia Hospital Center exercise programs, will demonstrate physical activities and exercises older adults can do at home. So thank you, Cathy, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Cheryl.
Well, I know I talked a little bit already about why exercise is so important, but help us on this. Why should older adults exercise and perform physical activities in their lives, and how does this help?
Okay, well, first of all, I think that if there was a magic pill for overall health, exercise would be it, and that's across the board for anyone of all ages. If we look specifically at what are the benefits for older adults, I think fall prevention is key. 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 fall. So what we know is that people who are more active can help prevent falls. You mentioned independence. I think people who exercise and are more active have the ability to stay and live more independently at home, which most seniors want.
Sure.
Certainly, it helps with weight control, it helps with balance, and as you said, it helps manage and prevent a variety of chronic diseases.
So the physical benefits, you talked a little bit already about balance. What else? And I'm also especially interested, of course, as we get older, sometimes we lose muscle tone. So is that an important part of the benefits of exercise?
Yes, absolutely. So when you're doing strength training, right, you're building muscle, you're helping strengthen your bones. Again, both of those are very important for fall prevention, balance. Cardiovascular aerobic type exercises are going to help improve your cardiovascular system. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but you really want to also incorporate actual balance exercises into your program. Again, that's going to help with fall prevention, and then also flexibility for range of motion around the joint.
I'm thinking also that the real keywords is always keep moving, and is that especially important like for our joints? I think about arthritis and that. Would that also be a physical benefit?
Yes, it's like with anything, right? Use it or lose it. Sometimes people feel, you mentioned arthritis, sometimes people feel when they have arthritis, my joints are too sore, so I can't exercise. And what we know is the more people, if people don't do anything, it almost gets worse. So exercise actually is beneficial because it's going to help keep those joints a little bit looser and strengthening the muscles and tendons around those joints.
All right. Well, how about emotional and mental benefits? I would imagine that there are some good things about exercise too in those arenas.
Absolutely. So we know that when one of the things that happens when people exercise, it helps pump up those endorphins and serotonin. So that's going to help as a improve mood, anxiety, across the board. One of the best natural forms of stress management is exercise.
Getting on there.
Getting up there.
It's emotional and mental.
Yes.
And you feel better about yourself,
and you
too.
feel better about yourself.
I mean,
absolutely.
And I would imagine this is true too for people in your classes, that they enjoy that interaction?
Yes, I think that when people go, and I know that we were talking earlier about social isolation and people living at home, and some of the most recent research on social isolation is really fascinating, because what it's showing is that we're seeing seniors who are at home and more isolated has a negative impact on their physical health and their mental health. And I think the beauty of a exercise class, whether it's a class you go to, a mall walking program, is you get those physical benefits of the exercise, but you also get that social interaction of people. I know with our classes, we have some of the folks in our classes that have been taking classes together for some of them up to 10 years.
Wow.
So they really get to know each other.
Right.
All of a sudden, someone doesn't show up for class for a couple weeks. They're calling them, they're checking on them. So again, it's this base of people looking out for each other. So I think that has a huge impact, as you said, on that mental well-being as well.
And I just wanted to pick up on what you were saying also about walking. I mean, people kind of forget that walking could also be an exercise, and especially what you're saying in terms of mall walking. So it's a social activity, but it's also an exercise as well. Do you
Absolutely.
agree?
I think walking is one of the best things all of us can do.
Right.
So I think overall, what we want to tell people is just to be more active throughout the day. That even if you're not necessarily going to an exercise class, being more active throughout your day. Some people may have heard the latest saying is that sitting is the new smoking, and that we're finding that just sitting too much throughout the day has a negative impact on our health. So just getting up, if you find you've been sitting on the couch for 2 hours, get up, move around, even if it's just taking a couple of laps around your apartment or your house, it's beneficial because we don't want to be sitting too much.
Do you find also that there are certain barriers that people kind of, barriers is probably a nice word, or excuses that that prevent people from doing exercise, or might they say, oh, I'm too old?
Right. You know, it's interesting. I think as when people are younger, time tends to be a big one, right? I just don't have enough time. I think for the older adult, it's almost a little bit of a fear, right? Especially for someone who maybe hasn't exercised in a long time. They think that, oh, I don't know if I can do it. It might be too strenuous. I don't want to get hurt. I'm too old to start. And as I think you mentioned in the introduction, no one is ever too old to start, and no one's ever too old to see the benefits. It doesn't matter how old you are. When you start exercising, you're going to see benefits.
And if somebody is older and they haven't exercised in a long time, do you, in your exercise classes, require some kind of permission from the doctor or some kind of an affirmation that it is okay for them to exercise? How do you handle that?
We don't require an exercise a permission from the physician, but we do tell people, especially if people haven't been active for a long time, maybe if they have some kind of medical condition, that it never hurts to talk to their doctor to see, hey, is there something that I should be careful about? Certainly people who are diabetic, who may have not exercised in a long time, they may want to have a better understanding of how that may affect their glucose levels, that type of thing, if there's some joint issues. But typically you don't need that doctor permission. I think it is a nice thing. I recommend if you haven't taken it and you're unsure, that's the nice thing about a class where you're taking it under supervision with someone who knows what they're doing, so they can guide you through the exercises and making sure that you're doing them in a safe way.
And if somebody is, as I said, is there a particular approach, especially for people who've been pretty sedentary?
Right.
How do you start?
I think the key is to start slow, right?
Okay.
So again, if we go for people who are just at home, right, it's just moving more often.
All right.
So sometimes what we have to look at is what your baseline is, right? If you've been absolutely doing nothing, you don't want to go from doing nothing to all of a sudden doing something 5 days a week at a higher level. So take a look at what your baseline is. Start slow. It just may be, hey, I'm just going to start being more active throughout the day.
Okay.
And then I'm going to up my walking. And then again, as we mentioned, I think then taking a class where you have that instructor that can guide you through the exercises properly. And then you have the ability to add a few days on your own because you've learned how to do them the correct way.
And you don't need any special clothing or shoes? What do you suggest?
I don't think you necessarily need. I think if you're going to be exercising outside, certainly you need to wear the proper type of clothing. But I think footwear is important, right? You want to wear proper footwear that's going to give you good support and good balance.
Okay. And for starters, what are maybe just a couple exercises? We're going to see you demonstrate, but when you're starting out or some exercise, maybe you could just tell us.
Well, I think, there's different components to physical activity. So you want cardiovascular activity, so things that you're going to be just getting that heart pumping. So walking is the best. The recommendation, the 2018, they just came up with the new guidelines.
Oh, okay.
So 150 minutes a week, 5 days a week, 30 minutes. Strength training exercises, we're going to show those in the demo, and then certainly balance exercises are very important.
All right, well, we're going to see this very soon. So at this point, Cathy and Karen Clark Stone, a participant in several exercise classes at Virginia Hospital Center, will demonstrate a series of exercises older adults can do at home. So let's watch.
Hi, so what we're going to do next is we're going to show you a series of strength training exercises that we do in our exercise classes. But the nice thing is all these exercises you can do in the comfort of your own home. So Karen, let's go ahead and start. I want you to keep the band. So when we're using these bands, you want to make sure you're keeping the tension. So let's start with the band overhead, and we're going to pull down in front. Slow, controlled movement. Usually when we're doing exercises, we're wanting to do anywhere from 8 to 16 reps. All right, now bring it down chest level, and I want you to pull those shoulders together. Pull the shoulder blades, like squeeze. Good job. So what we're doing, working that upper back a little bit. You can see Karen's doing nice, slow, controlled movements. And down. Good. Now, go ahead and put the band under one foot. Again, you can see that you can do these sitting in your family room. You can do them in the dining room, in the kitchen, anywhere where you have a chair. So you want your elbow tucked in, wrist straight, and I want you to come all the way up. So you want to make sure anytime you're doing strength training exercises that you're making sure you're doing nice, good form. So you're working the muscles properly and you're avoiding risk of injury. So here with the dumbbell curls, we've got our wrists up, working those biceps. And then we can put our palm down into a reverse curl that works the forearm a little bit. Good. Great. Good job, Karen. So anytime you work one muscle group, you want to work the opposing muscle group. So now what we're working is those triceps. Again, you can see we're keeping the band nice and tight. Slow, controlled movement. Good. Now we're going to show you some strength training exercises you can use with dumbbells. So Karen, go ahead. With dumbbells, usually I tell people to get a couple different sizes. If you want to be able to do 10 repetitions, it's too light if the second repetition is the same as the 10th. All right, so let's start off arms straight, end of the dumbbells, and we'll alternate shoulder raise. So you just want to go up to shoulder level. And again, you can see Karen's doing a nice, slow, controlled movement. You can alternate these, or we'll do one more, and then come down, and then double. Good. And then we want to do the side raise. Same thing. We can alternate one, and then the other. Good. Let's do one more. And then we can double. Right? And this is a great exercise for the shoulders. When you're in a seated position, you can do the exercises, and you can do the exercises to your ability. So we're going to put our weights right on our shoulder. You're going to alternate push up, and you want to make sure whenever you're doing these strength training exercises, you're not holding your breath. All right. One more, and down. And then we're going to bend from the waist, elbows up, and we're going to work those triceps because we worked the biceps. Now we want to work the tricep. One of the exercises that I think is the most important is a squat. So Karen, I want you to stand up in front of your chair, all right? And what you want to do is you want to do this in front of your own chair, and you want to pretend you're sitting down. So we're going to pretend we're sitting down, so butt back, and we're going to hover and then come back up. And again, hover and come back up. And so what are we doing? We're building all those muscles that we need to get ourselves up out of a chair, which is so crucial. And what we do sometimes in class, we stop, we do a little hover, and sometimes when we do this, we really know that we're working all our muscles, don't we, Karen?
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to show you some exercises that you can do for the upper body and lower body standing behind the chair. So if you're sitting behind a chair, you want your feet to be about the width of the chair. You want to make sure that you have a chair that is has good support, so you don't want to be behind a chair that's on rollers. But earlier we showed you how to do upper body exercises with the bands and the dumbbells. And now I want to show you exercises that you can do for the upper body if you don't have any equipment. So we're going to do standing push-ups. So you want, Karen, arms wide, all right? We're just going to move our upper body because that's what we're working, and you're going to come down and then push yourself up, right? Slow, controlled movement. Again, you're breathing out as you push up. So when we do these, we're working our chest, we're working our biceps, we're working our triceps. And when you put your hands together, this works your triceps a little bit more. So you're going to come down again, bending and pushing up. Down and up. And of course, you can also do these push-ups against a wall. So a great way to get that upper body exercise without having any equipment. So you're going to come to the side of the chair. We're going to start with our legs straight, and we're going to work that outside leg. So nice out. Now, of course, all of these exercises can be modified in a seating position. And then we can work the top of the leg. So you're doing a nice knee lift. Again, you can see slow, controlled movement. You can see Karen has really nice posture, right? So she's keeping that back nice and straight. Hold up. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you can bend and extend. And again, one foot up off the floor adds a little bit of a balance component, also helps you work those core muscles. So come to a stop. We're going to work, just do a little bit of heel raises. So we're going to lift both heels. And this is nice because what this is doing is, think about, we spend so much time walking, right? This is strengthening our calf muscles, also strengthening those muscles and tendons and ligaments around the ankle. And then because we go up on our tippy toes, it also adds a little bit of a balance component. So we worked the outside of the thigh, we worked the quad, and now we're going to work the back. So Karen, lift that outside leg, and you're just going to push with your heel back like you're kicking behind you. And you can see we both are holding on to the chair to give us a little bit of support. We could also be doing this against a wall. And then the last part of the leg we want to work is that inner thigh. When you're working the inner thigh, you typically want to lead with the heel, and you're going across your body. So bring that leg in front, and you're going across the body, leading with the heel. Again, just like with our upper body, we're doing anywhere from 8 to 16 repetition. And then the final component is a little bit more of the balance. So when your feet are flat like this, we have our best support. You can adjust it where you have one foot in front of the other, and you're just like you're walking a tightrope. You have a light hold on that thing, right? Any balance exercise is an exercise that puts you off balance, right? So you're having to steady yourself, right? You can take that outside leg, lift it up. Again, light hold. Now, for some people, they're going to keep it right here. For others, if they have pretty good balance, Karen, you can decide if you want to do this or not. They can lift the hand off or just gently hold. So if you look, we've incorporated upper body strength, lower body strength, and balance work to our routine. And again, in the long run, it's going to make a big difference in helping you prevent falls and helping you maintain your independence. So we just give you a brief overview of different exercises that you can do at home and the exercises that we do in several of the classes that we offer at Virginia Hospital Center. Thanks, Karen.
I hope the demonstration Cathy and Karen presented was helpful and provided useful information about how older adults can exercise to stay healthy and improve quality of life. So I wanted to ask, now that we've seen the demonstration, you talked a little bit before the demo about the difference between aerobic exercise and strength training and balance and flexibility. Can you kind of elaborate at that now that we've seen the different demos?
So cardiovascular exercises, anything that gets your heart pumping. So walking, we said earlier, was one of the best things you can do, but it can be walking, biking, swimming, dancing, anything that's going to get your heart rate up.
So that's kind of aerobic.
That's kind of aerobic.
Okay,
that's your
that
aerobic.
is aerobic.
Yep,
okay.
That's your aerobic.
Got it. Okay.
What we did in the demo was some strength and balance. So strength training exercises are things that are designed to strengthen the muscles. So that would be the exercises that we did using the bands, using the dumbbells. You can also use your own weight for strength training. And then balance is important. Those are some of the exercises that we did at the very end. And balance is really important, especially as we get age. The one thing we didn't show was flexibility, but classes like a yoga class is a great class. Flexibility works that range of motion around the joint. So those are really important as well.
And that balance is just especially important for older adults.
Yes, because as we mentioned earlier, 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 fall, and falls is one of the biggest reasons for trips to the emergency room by older adults.
Wow. The other thing that I was curious about is there was some equipment that you used in the demo. Are there other kinds of equipment that older adults can use, and where would you get something like that?
Good question. So I think the first thing I really want to emphasize is people don't have to have equipment. So sometimes our own body is our best equipment. So we can use our body and gravity to do strength training, but in addition to the dumbbells and bands that we use, you can do, there's tubing, there's little exercise balls that people can use. You can find that online, or you can go to any type of sporting goods store, or even Walmart and Target have exercise equipment that you can use. And certainly from a cardiovascular standpoint, if they don't want walking, there's exercise bikes, there's treadmills, there's all sorts of different things.
And I'm thinking too in terms of weights, that would be lighter weights too. Like, what, 8 pounds, 5 pounds?
Probably it's going to be anywhere from 2 to 5, depending on what level people are starting at.
Okay. So let's hear about Virginia Hospital Center's exercise program. What kinds of classes do you offer?
Great. So we offer a variety of exercise programs at the hospital. We do adaptive seated yoga, gentle Pilates, gentle yoga, Tai Chi, senior stretch and strength, senior classes, so really to meet the needs of everyone. We also coordinate the mall walking program at Pentagon City Mall. That meets Tuesday, Thursday morning. So that's a nice way if you want to get in your walking, but you want to do it in a safe environment and you don't want to have to deal in the summer with the 95-degree weather or in the winter with the cold weather. It's a nice climate to walk in.
And you can go shopping after you finish.
And you can go shopping. As a matter of fact, when we go back to that social aspect, usually after, a lot of the people go down to the food court and enjoy a little bit of coffee and light breakfast, and then maybe shopping afterwards too.
And have lunch.
And have lunch.
And I was curious, in terms of these classes, how often are they, how often do they occur? And are they right at the hospital? Tell us a little more.
So the mall walking program is Tuesday, Thursdays. The exercise classes usually meet 7 weeks. So usually people sign up for a 7-week session that meets once a week. We have many participants like Karen who take multiple classes.
Yes.
We have classes at the actual main hospital campus and then also at our Carlin Springs Wellness Classroom.
Okay. And if people say someone's watching this program and they aren't near Arlington and want to find out more about exercise, what other resources are available that they could check out?
You know, the first place I direct people to is their local parks and recs. Regardless of where people live, most parks and rec department have great exercise programs, and a lot of them have exercise programs for seniors. So I always think that's a great place to start. Certainly the local YMCA or gyms as well. For people who are haven't exercised in a while, and there may be a little bit of a fear of exercising. The Northern Virginia Fall Prevention Alliance, you can go to their website, and they have classes called Sail and A Matter of Balance throughout the area, which are great for people who are kind of reintroducing themselves into exercise.
And I guess they can, the other thing that occurs to me is that there are a lot of senior centers. There's 5 senior centers in this area as well. That's part of Parks and Recreation.
That's part of Parks. And the other nice thing too is if you are a tech savvy senior, now with the digital age, you can go on YouTube. There are different apps, and you can do a search for senior exercise, and you can find shows that, like this one, that are on YouTube, and you can follow along a half-hour yoga class or strength training class. So it's really nice for those people who maybe don't want to go out and do the exercise as part of a group.
And they can do it right in the privacy of their own home.
They can do it in the privacy
in
their own home, and once they feel more comfortable, then they can join a class.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank Cathty Turner with Virginia Hospital Center and Karen Clark-Stone for joining me today. This program is broadcast Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on Comcast Channel 69 or Verizon Channel 38 in Arlington, Virginia, or streaming live at those times on arlingtonmedia.org. By the way, Aging Matters is also on the radio. The program is broadcast every Tuesday at 2 p.m. on WERA LP Arlington 96.7 FM. And you can listen to all Aging Radio programs by visiting mixcloud.com/Aging Matters. Finally, both radio and television Aging Matters programs are posted on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Aging Matters WERA. I want to thank you for watching Aging Matters today, and until the next time, remember, age is just a number, not a label. I hope you will join me again next time on Aging Matters.